Hello everyone, I'm Max Schroyer. I am a student researcher who is with the LSU's math department, working in combination with Louisiana Sea Grant to get this Raspberry Pi solution for the oyster and frog embryos classification and counting AI models out to the masses. I am going to be doing a quick demo on how to assemble your Raspberry Pi hardware, and then you can follow the documentation on the GitHub repo to set up the model itself on your system. So right now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Raspberry Pi. We're using the Raspberry Pi 5, and we have the 8GB RAM version. We don't recommend going any lower than the 8GB, as you might run into some issues with not having enough room to load the models on your system. Out of the box, your Raspberry Pi won't look like mine because we have installed an active cooling system on ours. Now, we recommend you do have a cooling system. It doesn't have to be the active cooling. It can just be static cooling. That's perfectly okay. But the assembly of this, very easy. You remove the paper backing to the thermal pads and carefully place it on top, making sure to align these two plastic bolts that you just press in and it'll lock in. And then for the fan, there's a little fan connector right here. Comes with a covering on it. Just pop it off and plug it in. Super easy. If you get confused, there are plenty of tutorials, and I'm pretty sure even in the box that the cooler comes with will tell you how to apply it. Secondly, you can see we have our 7-inch display. There is a motherboard that controls the display and some stands. It should come with 4 screws. I've already placed those into the holes on the Raspberry Pi where it should be threading into. And you can just see the screen on this side. This is the backing. You have 4 of these bracket mounts that we will be screwing our 3D printed housing into. They can find the files in the GitHub repo as well. You can also see we have a camera. This is optional if you want to take photos from the device, which we find is very easily the best way to do it. That way you don't have to be taking photos on one device, uploading them to the Raspberry Pi first for counting. It's easier if you have the camera built in, and so you can use that. We are using a Raspberry Pi AI camera. You can use any module tool camera. They should have a high enough quality to run this and do accurate prediction. This is just the model we have, and so that's what we're using. Also in the box with the screen and the camera, you should find 2 ribbon cables. So one ribbon cable, it says right here, is for the touch display, and the other one is for the camera cable. You might get a few extra camera cables in there, but we are looking for the one with the narrower side and the wide side. Also with the screen, it should come with 2 wires, a black and a red. This is used for powering the display, and I'll get into installing that later on. You might also realize I have a little bit of extra screws. These are required for getting the housing to attach to here. You have to buy these separately. They are M40 by 1/4 screws, or M440 by 1/4 screws. You can find those at any hardware store like Ace or Home Depot or Lowe's, whichever one's more convenient. You find them really cheap, maybe less than $1 for all 8 of them. All right, so I'll get right into the assembly. So first, install your active cooling or passive cooling solution. And then we can move on over to the screen. Okay, quick side note, forgot to mention this in my initial recording, but you will have a micro SD card that you will have to install and flash with the Raspberry Pi OS. There is instructions on the Raspberry Pi website itself on how to do that. You'll need a separate computer to initially do the setup, but you'll just load on this micro SD card, the Raspberry Pi OS, and with the pins facing up on the side opposite to the USB, you'll see this little connector right here. On the bottom side of the motherboard, you'll see this slot right here. This is where you'll insert the micro SD card, and that is your storage for the device and will run the operating system for you. So you'll want to grab the ribbon cable that says touch display cable, and making sure to keep the metal connection side up, slide it right into this little backing, making sure that it is parallel to the end, and just using 2 fingers. You might have to use a little bit of force here, but just snap it in to secure it. And it should, if I can get it, just right in there. And you'll know it's in if you give it a little light tug, nothing too hard, and it doesn't wiggle or pull out. And that's how you know you did it right. Next, you'll want to get the screws. They might be already in the mounting, so just unscrew them. I like to just put them through the holes, and we'll just place it right on top. Oops, sorry. Making sure to keep the USB ports to the opposite side of this cable. That's how you know the orientation is correct. And you can just place it right on top of those mounting brackets. Now, we just have to get our screwdriver while making sure it's in place and screw it right in. Now that we have all 4 screws screwed in, we want to come over here where you'll see these 2 little cable inputs, plugs. And what we're going to do is plug the display camera cable, this small side, in on this that side. You might have to pop these up. I like to use a screwdriver just because it's a little bit easier, and you'll just slide it right in there, making sure to get it snug. Same thing that you did with the other one, 2 sides, and just push it in. You'll know it's in, nice and good. Give it a little wiggle test, give it a nice little small tug, and if it doesn't go anywhere, you did it right. Next, we can do the camera cable for now. Same thing, where you just slide it right in to the right. Oh, forgot to pop this open. That's a good thing. You can make sure to get the metal side facing the USB ports. That's how you know you have the right orientation. It should just slide right in there, and you just press it down. All right, wiggle test, give it a nice little pull. Doesn't go anywhere. Good. Next, you'll take your 2 cables, red and black, and you'll attach the black side to the farthest left pin on the bottom motherboard. You'll see maybe 5 or 6 of these. The farthest left is what you're looking for, and you'll plug in the black cable to it. Same thing with the red, except for on the farthest to the right. All right, now with the red cable, we are going to find the pin furthest to the right and on this bottom row right here, and just plug it in. Right. And with this black cable, similar, but we're going to skip 1. So on the 3rd pin on this bottom row, and plug it in there. Great. So they should be nice, pushed down all the way, and they shouldn't pull out easily. Now what we can do is attach the mounting. So you should see that it can just slide right in there. Make sure you're not squishing any of these cables or getting them caught up. And it should be good. Next, you'll want to take the second housing right here. It's kind of raised, looks like this. And just make sure you get all the cables in there. Making sure to get the open side for the ports and not squish the cables, hopefully. Very good. Perfect. That's what you want to see. And with how you have it now, you can take your screws and screw them into the mounting brackets on the back side of the 7-inch touchscreen display. Should be nice, not really moving. And next, what we can do is take our top housing. Something to talk about the orientation. So with where the USB-C port is for the power, this will be the bottom of our monitor. So it will be like this. So we want to keep the camera on the top portion right here. So that's how I like to orient it. You can orient it some other way. Also, the file might be changed by the time you guys get to it, and it might look a little different, but I'm sure you're smart enough to figure it out. And just kind of smush all those cables in there, making sure they're none sticking out, none getting smushed. All right, now we can take 4 of our other screws that we have left and put them right in to the screw holes. And we'll tighten them down. With that, we're almost done. Now all we have to do is the camera. So same thing, ribbon cable, same situation as we had before. We want to have the pins facing, pins facing up with the camera. Gotta pop this bracket open first. Pins facing up with the camera, just like this. There we go. A little bit of a snug fit on this one. There we go. Now, you might have a long cable like I do. You just either stuff it in there or you can let it hang. Either one works. I recommend keeping this cable all the way in, but just for demo purposes, it will be fine. And for this housing, it's just a press on. So just find the right orientation and make sure that you're not squishing the camera lens, and fits right in. Now you have your fully assembled Raspberry Pi ready to go, and you can just plug it right in to your USB-C, or if you have a battery solution like a portable power pack with a cable, then you can plug it in there also. And it should work.